America Garage. In today's video, we're going to be working on a 1989 Chevy Celebrity base model. Not the Eurosport this time, but a base model. Got to get a lot of work done ahead of me, so let's get right into it. Well, here she is. Let's see if we can get her fired up. Yeah, it's had some damage to it since the last time y'all seen it, and I've seen it. A truck hit it on the side. It really sucks. And I doubt two new doors would fix it because the whole A-pillar is shoved into the car. But the doors do open and shut, at least, but they leak terribly bad. It's got plexiglass in between it. It didn't bust the glass in the door, which surprisingly, but yeah, that's straight into the car. We've got to fix that, tape it up, or do something a little better for him. But been sitting out here for a week and a half waiting on parts and waiting on weather. This weather has been stupid crazy. Let's see if the battery's got any juice. Yeah, no keys required. Well, I still got something. Cold start, 205,131 miles. Let it warm up. Go ahead and get this tarp put off of it. Love that exhaust note, man. A little blue there. That's a little high. Alright. There's one of the problems we gotta fix. Pedal's like stuck. I don't like that. Not revved up that high with the pedal sticks really bad when you first touch it. I don't know what the deal is up with that, but we're looking into that too. See if I can flat foot it, clear it out. Maybe the computer will reevaluate, calibrate the out-of-door control valve. Sometimes that works, sometimes it don't. Doesn't look like that's gonna work. Come on. I can't even put it in gear with it like that. It tear up a lot of things, do a lot of damage. Come on. Still doing it. Oh, come on. There you go, come down. Come on. I'll give it a minute. Let me get this tarp off the car at least. Well, I tried another outdoor control valve. Still nothing. Still doesn't want to. Still does not want to idle down. So I guess we'll do the old battery reset and see what the heck that does. Either that or the TPS is bad and causing the idle to stick that way too. I'm just trying to get it in the dadgum shop and can't even get it in there. So my assumption of the IAC must not be the problem. Yes, I know you're supposed to do the negative. I can't get to the negative. It's easier to get to the positive. Let that sit for 5-10 minutes with it unplugged. Something else too is to turn the headlights on while the battery's unhooked like that, and it'll fully drain the juice that's left through the ECM and the whole powertrain. Let it sit, plug it back up, see if it'll actually idle. because that AC is from 3.1 and it should have brought it back down. So that's not the problem, it's something else. Could be something to do with the throttle sticking. See how it sticks? You got to really force it, so something's not right there. Either that or it's the TPS. Something's not happy. Alright, well, not a sponsor, but PB Blaster's some good stuff. Use that on everything. Soaked it in the shaft, usually where I was suspecting of it sticking, and that looks like it's taking care of the sticking issue. There's something else I see. You see that? There, it's not even touching the set screw. Somebody's messed with the set screw. Yep, sure have. Somebody's had their fingers messing with it, trying to get the idle to come down, and that's not how you fix it. So I've got to kind of get that dialed back into where it needs to be. I'm gonna go get a Torx bit and fix that, because the threads that are sticking out, that's not enough. It's usually about 3 curved lines of thread sticking out. It's not even touching. I could probably get a piece of paper through there. So I'm gonna go get something for that. It could be another reason why it's sticking, because it's too far back. But even so, it shouldn't do that. We go get that, fix that a little bit, hook the battery back up, start it up, see what it does. Alright. You can look closely. You see there's like 2 threads sticking out. It's usually about 2 or 3 threads. That's about what I've measured from messing with several of these throttle bodies. For these 2.831s. They're all the same, where they usually have their measurements set at. That's about right. So that would be probably why it ain't running right, because the TPS is off, the IAC is off, the whole entire setup is off. You mess that up and, well, you get the issues that this one's got. Hook the battery back up. Let's see if it idles now. It should. It's one thing I can't stand, when people tamper with stuff that shouldn't be messed with. Yeah, see, now it's trying to figure out what I've done. Come on. Look at that. People quit messing with things. Alright, let's get this in the shop. Yeah, that's how it should react. A little clunk, but could be another motor mount. Power steering sounds low. Brakes are very grabby in the back. Where's drive? Okay. Shift machine not wanting to shift. Drive. There it goes. Maybe it's a little low on fluid. Let's try that again now that it's on flat ground. Geez, the back brakes are grabby. And squeaky. Drive. There it goes. Oh yeah, we got a big delay, so I may have to service the transmission. Reverse is there every time. Pull all the way in first, see if it goes. It does a little faster. Yeah, I may have to do a service to it. God, them back brakes are touchy. Alright, got it in the garage, got it on ramps, and yeah, here's a spare throttle body out of many that I have laying around. But if you look, there's like 2 or 3 threads sticking out. That's usually about the measurement that I give these. If they've been tampered with, like this one has, that shouldn't have been. There's supposed to be a cover. Does this one have it? No, it does not. Looks like somebody's messed with it too a little bit, but there's supposed to be like a little cover plug in there so you can't tamper with it, because it's set factory. That there should be no reason whatsoever, I don't care what's going on, that you mess with that set screw. That's supposed to be like that. Never touch it. But somebody's popped that out or whatever to get to that screw. But it seems to rev up fine, idle fine. I'll kind of get more into that later, but main issues with this car, she's got an oil leak, and a very, very significant oil leak. It leaves a puddle underneath the car. The whole underside of the car is just coated. It looks like you're up north and it's got like that, that film that they use to keep their cars from rusting up there. That's exactly what it looks like. The whole underside is just coated with oil. And I've already gathered up some parts. Behind the scenes, ordered them ahead of time because everything's not in stock. This is 30, 40 years old, something like that. So, yeah, none of that stuff's in stock. So anyway, you can pick up one of these. This is going to help. This is one of the leaks. I've already looked at it. And the part number is 701194. And it's a distributor mounting gasket thing that you can put on there. A Chevy 350. You can look up any Chevy, 350, 305, whatever, 283 for instance, and it'll have this little gasket for that. And the other thing that's actually causing the leak is this guy, this little leak, this little O-ring right there. It's supposed to be USA brand, Manuel, however you pronounce that. And here's your part number. It's 72214. Of course, you're not going to be able to see that because it's backwards. But so with these two here, that should fix the distributor dummy oil leak problem. The other oil leak problem is this little guy. These are very, very, very common on GM for failure to spray oil out of them, leak oil out of them, or just drain oil out of them when you're running your oil pressure switch. Whether it be a gauge or an idiot light that this has got. It's got a dummy light. So your part number for the oil pressure switch, PS188. And like I said, GM used that same oil pressure switch for many, many vehicles out there. They thought about a gasket. This right here took the longest and more of anything trying to get it in. GM or G31281. And it says made in the USA, which is nice. And something else I noticed is the thickness of this. See if I can get this out. Versus the one that's on my Eurosport that is like very, very paper thin, kind of like the sheet of paper that's in this. This is way thicker. It's kind of really hard to show the diameter of that, but it's way thicker than what the Eurosport has. So I bought another one for it so I can change it later. But yeah, there's the part number for that guy. So I'm going to change the throttle body gasket because I'm going to have to pull that off and figure out what's going on with that. And I've got plenty of other throttle bodies laying around. I can swap it out for his and fix that. So we got a gasket for it. Got the dummy distributor, O-rings, gaskets. This is just an extra caution. I've done this many, many times on these 2831s. The 3100, you can do the same thing. Like I said, any Chevy with a V8, like this is, it's got it on here. I think it says 1955 to 95, something like that. And it should go farther than that. But anyway, you add this with the dummy O-ring, and it will help keep the leaks down. So if this does fail again later on, this will help seal it as well. It's kind of like a backup, so to speak. And I'll show you when I pull that out. But I got another assortment of O-rings just in case, I can use. I got a PCV valve grommet, and I also got a tube at the junkyard for him because this one's broke. It broke off in the valve cover, so I got to get that out and put this one in. That should work. If not, I got another one of these laying around somewhere. Alright, so one of the most famous common problems of oil leaks on your 28, 31, 3100, 3400, and so forth is the distributor dummy O-ring. As I showed you earlier, if you look straight down there, that little guy way down there, right there, there is a, I think it's a 13 bolt with a distributor clamp holding it down, because that's where your distributor would go if this was carbureted. Pull that out and change the O-ring. It causes a massive oil leak to the front of the engine, especially the back of the engine. You can see the oil down the transmission down there. It's everywhere. So first thing is get the air intake box out of the way, set that over there. You gotta take the throttle body off, get that out of the way, or at least get it to where it's off and laying to the side. You honestly shouldn't have to remove the whole entire thing, because that would involve removing the cooling hoses to it. Alright, ended up having to take the whole throttle body completely off and away from the car. You want to cap off these cooling lines, because there's going to be residual flowing out of those, and you don't want that exposed to internal of your engine and bearings when you take that distributor dummy out. I already took the bolt and the clamp out, so with a little jiggle it should just pop right out, and I'm hoping that I don't have to touch the fuel lines. Shouldn't have to. Wow, it's actually really loose. Look at that. And right out she comes. And the oil don't look too bad in there. It actually looks clean. No buildup. I may have to do that. I really didn't want to, but it's hitting the top of the fuel lines. Oh, that sucks. Let me see if I can get a wrench in here, disconnect that fuel line, this fuel line, that 10 mil bolt, and then move the fuel lines out of the way, just so I can get that dummy out, distributor dummy. Alright, got the O-ring off, and just I had thought, yep, she's done. It broke right in half as soon as I tried to take the O-ring off. You also may notice that this one's a little bigger than that one, and this is the new one, and it's more pliable. And that's only because oil over time makes gaskets, seals, and things like that swell up, so it's completely normal. And that's probably the factory O-ring from 1989. And just in case nobody pays attention at the beginning of the video, like most of the time, I had to go over this several times. The part number for this is 72214. So I'm going to go ahead and slap this on. You usually go from the bottom, work your way all the way up to here, and then the other part, distributor mounting gasket, is 70194, and it goes against this right here as an extra backup when this one fails. Alright, here's what the finished product should look like. New O-ring, new mounting gasket. It is a little difficult to get it over this geared shaft here, but it should work all the way up, pop right in. So I usually take a little bit of oil, put it around the O-ring, and just slap them in. See if I can get this in with one hand. Haha, right into place. You don't have to worry about it lining up like an actual distributor where it's going to be in time. So don't worry about that. If somebody out there is thinking, oh, you're going to get it out of time, it's going to hurt something. No, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't line up, like this one's not, let's see if I can get, pull it back out, turn it, put it back in so it lines up with the teeth on the cam. Come on. Alright, after some finesse, she's in. The main problem is the oil pump connects to this, of course. You have the gear that's off of that dummy shaft that goes to the cam, which is what turns the bottom of the oil pump shaft. It goes to the bottom of this dummy all the way straight down to the oil pump. And something else, when you take these out, make sure that that shaft, it's a Allen head looking guy, and you should see it straight down to make sure that it's still in the oil pump, because if it came out and fell into the oil pan, game over right there. The oil pan's got to come off. You got to put that back, or otherwise you're not going to have any oil pressure, and your engine's going to lock up. So, well, things have escalated. You can tell the upper intake plenum is off now. And that is because I bashed the wrench against this vacuum harness into the intake. My hand slipped, or the wrench slipped off of this right here, and well, vacuum harness just right in half, which actually goes all the way down over here to the purge valve solenoid. It's supposed to like suck fumes out from the tank or something like that to reburn it for emissions. And I couldn't get to this to put a vacuum line back on it to put them back together with the intake on it. There's just no room. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap that up, put a vacuum hose on that, and I guess I'll throw the intake back on. Alright, so it's been some time later, and as you can tell, the engine's kind of reassembled. I went ahead and just knocked that out. Nobody wants to watch all that. I've taken apart and reassembled these engines more than once on this channel, I think by now. So most of you should know how this works. So anyway, speed up time. When I had the intake off, something else that I wished I could have got on camera. This little straw was inside the intake. Now, I don't know how long that thing was in there, but you can see it's bent. It's got black soot on each ends. But it was stuck down into the ports that go in the intake. Not the car side, but the plenum itself. So somebody was probably sticking something in here to spray. Carb cleaner, brake cleaner, who knows what. Or even had this hose off. Anyway, somehow this ended up inside the engine, and luckily it's out, because if that were to have made it down into there, who knows what could have happened. And something else, when I was reassembling the engine side, the coolant crossover pipe starting to leak. That little gasket's done for. I thought it was the hose. It's tight. It's not leaking there. It's the little gasket down there. None of the parts stores could get it. So, of course, Rock Auto it is. They were like 80 cents, so I ordered several of those to keep on hand. Throttle body's cleaned with a new gasket, and set the set screw a little bit more, just to kind of dial it in. Put the IAC back on it that was on it that I put on it 3 years ago for the guy. And the little part that I broke on the intake, I replaced it with a vacuum hose, so that's fixed. EGR valves back on, everything's good. Hooked up the cruise control. Shouldn't have a problem with that. I don't know why it was unhooked, but that can't be laying with it unhooked, because it's going to melt from the exhaust being so hot. And won't be long, we'll be getting back into the temperatures where it's going to get warmer again. I replaced or installed a grommet for the connector down there for the TPS. The grommet was missing when I unplugged it. That's not good. That could allow moisture or not enough of a good connection, because the tabs are already broken off like this one up here. So there's nothing we can really do, but at least it's protected now. And the hose to the throttle body, the coolant hoses, this one in particular is brand new. Let's see if I can get a better picture of it somehow. See the mess I've created. But anyway, that's all done. So next is an air filter. And I'm really glad that I paid attention to that, because here's something weird. So the part number on this one is a Wix, but the Wix look crappy. It's 46234, made in Mexico, you know. This one is an STP from AutoZone, made in China, SA3924. I won't look it up, see if I can find another one of these to keep on hand, but this one's brand new out of my car. And I don't need it because, well, I've done some modifications to it, so I'm going to pass it on to this car because it's brand new. But in the meantime, I definitely want to have another one just to have, because parts are getting harder to find. But look at the difference here. That's like night and day. That's way more coverage, way bigger than this little guy. I don't know if it's got more pleats in it that filter, but they seem to be the same height. So anyway, getting a new filter. This one's a little dirty, especially inside, and looks like it's got a bunch of sand like that, little particles. Yeah, you can see it when you get really close. Pretty dirty inside, a lot of dusty roads. And this one's pretty clean, so she gets a new one. I'll order another one. But that's kind of funny. You know, I thought Wix was supposed to be the best, but yeah, that's really flimsy and small for compared to an STP. So it is the next day, so let's fire it up and see how it runs. See if the cold start high idle goes up and comes down like it's supposed to. Hey, look at that. Much better. I think the tensioner is making some noise. Thinking about getting a shorter belt and adding a pulley down there before the bypass pulley that I put on it, because I don't know, something about the alignment just don't look right with that pulley. I need to put a smaller pulley and a smaller belt and see what that does. I think we're gonna have to put an IAC on it. I got an extra one here laying around. I'll put in it, see if that takes care of the problem before I go buy a new one. But it's going up and down, up and down. Then it goes too low and it surges and almost dies, and then it catches itself. Definitely not idling like it should be. Alright, so I put a another one I had laying around. This one's got 82,000 miles on that one. Original OEM, so let's see how it works. The others, the one that came out is messed up, and the other one I had is broken. I'm going to have to make a separate video about all these different types of things to look out for these engines, 2831, but this style of IAC valve, junk. Do not buy them. If it has a spring that looks like this, don't buy them. They may work for a little bit, but they eventually crap out later on. And this is the same thing. This is the one that was in it, and it moves barely. It's got some, thing is, they twist, and they shouldn't, and they make noise. And this one's locked up. Oh, wow, there it goes. That one has 180 some thousand, but it's been replaced because it's not original. But the car I got it from had 180 some thousand. Now here's the ones that you want. See, the spring is different than that guy. See the difference in the spring? That one's got more in it. This one's got less, and you can see the shaft in the middle. These are the ones that are junk. This is the ones that's better. If I'm not mistaken, O'Reilly sells this brand. It looks like that. AutoZone sells the ones that look like this. So there is a slight difference, but these usually last longer. So from what I've had experience with, than these little guys. to give it a second to recognize, and it should come down. Apparently I don't like the IAC valve either. Maybe it's bad out of the box, you know. Sent for who knows how many years. That car that I got that IAC from had like 82,000, like I said, but it had been sitting since like 04. That's what the tires were dated from, so that's just what I'm guessing. So yeah, guess I'll borrow this one from my backup engine for the Eurosport, because I know it works. See how nice this looks. This one's probably got 1,000 miles on it. So, like I said, I know it works every time. Never had a problem out of it. I'll throw this in just so I can get it to the dadgum car wash. And I'll order another one. Well, as you can tell, we didn't make it to the car wash. And that's because, well, the car still has idle problems. And I suspect the throttle body or something's going on with a big vacuum leak to enough to where it's not letting it idle correctly. So, got my smoke machine here. Figure out what in the world's going on. And check this out. Get this sucker rolling. Chooching some smoke. Give it a second. Well, yep. Already. Throttle body's leaking, just like I had expected. And the EGR valve's leaking. So EGR valve's shot, and there's not another one of those available. Throttle body shaft is worn out. Looks like it's leaking out of here too. Nothing I can do about that. Right where the TPS is leaking, EGR valve's leaking, it's leaking here, and it needs another throttle body. She's chooching pretty good. Yep. So, there's the idle problems. It wasn't an IAC after all. Just a little bit of my collection of hoarding parts for the 80s, 90s front wheel drive GM 2.8 and 3.1. These are all the same. It's minor differences here and there. The main differences is the throttle cables of how they hook up. Basically, the TV or kickdown cable. That's the only difference of how it hooks up. You see how it's straight across? And that one's the same, and this one, but this one is not. You see it straight across, right? This one is down here. My Eurosport takes that style. But these four here is what this Celebrity takes. Now, it doesn't matter if you got a 3-speed or 4-speed. Some mid-range year they changed it from what my Eurosport has to what this one has, which is straight across for the kickdown cable. I don't know why, but you can actually take this setup off and change it with another one. I've done that before. But I'm not going to do it with this one. I'm just going to put another throttle body on it. I've got one laying around, as you can tell. So I'm just going to swap that out and see how the car reacts to that. And probably cut this EGR valve off so there's no vacuum going to that, because there's no replacements for the EGR valve. Nobody can get that. There is some on eBay. It's like $100, but the problem is, you know, 30-plus-year-old parts sitting on the shelf for all these years with a rubber diaphragm like this one's got. Who knows if it's any good? So I'm just going to cut that out. The computer's really not going to really even know, because it probably don't even open it since it leaks, and it doesn't even hold vacuum when I press it in and hold the back section over here where the vacuum line goes in. It doesn't hold vacuum, so it's honestly doing nothing anyway. Alright, a few days later, we're back at it. So behind the scenes, I have replaced the throttle body and the TPS as well. The TPS that came off of it is junk. I don't know, it looks like something from flipping Amazon, if I had to guess. There's no numbers on it whatsoever anywhere, so it's got to be some knockoff China junk. It's got an OEM factory one on there now, and I have checked it on retested it, and it's perfectly fine in spec where it should be. And I've marked everything with a marker, permanent marker, red, so if anything ever gets touched or changed, I'll know if I ever see the car again. But whoever's touching it needs to leave it the heck alone, because they don't know what they're doing. Messing with the set screw was a big no-no. The straw in the intake, I mean, the engine literally sucked that in somehow. And putting this junk on there when they shouldn't. The part I had on there was under warranty, so that's out the window now. Also changed the dog bone mount. That thing was worn out pretty bad. I have not smoke tested it again, but I don't believe there's going to be more vacuum leaks. The throttle body that's on it, I don't know how many miles is on it, but I know it had to be under 200,000. I usually don't try to pull them if they got more than 200,000 miles because of the same problems that this one's got. Also, I wanted to show this. There's a plug in this one, so if that gets removed, I'll know 100% that they've been messing with it. But this one's got a plug in it, so hopefully they won't touch that ever again. Throttle body gasket's new as well. Alright, so let's test these out so I can show you exactly what had happened and why there's two of these. This one, while testing this Celebrity, I was trying to compare it with mine. And come to find out, this is the one that came off of mine. It actually does have a part number. And it was bad. Completely dead. I have no idea. In the past 5 years, I was driving that car, and I've been trying to diagnose it and fix it. And this little guy right here was junk. Pure junk. No readings at all. It's just dead. This one that came off of this car would read, but it had a glitch. A cut-up problem when you would turn the little dial in here, as it would change the ohms reading. But this one here, nothing. Just trash. So here's the throttle body that came off of his. You notice it's got the bigger style coolant passages. So, anyway, what was mainly bad is this right here. The fact that that moves up and down, she's shot. There's no fixing that. It would have to have a total rebuild, and I don't have the parts for that. And they don't make these anymore. So, and there's no way to get them. So if it wasn't for me, this car would actually have to be parked, because there's no way you could drive it with a bad TPS, or honestly a bad throttle body with it leaking that much vacuum. Alright, so I hooked up the TPS for testing purposes only. Hooked it back up to the bad throttle body. It ain't gonna matter. So this is the one that was on the car with the bad throttle body. But if I mess with it, slowly open it, you'll see it glitch. There it goes. It just went to 2 to 3. Come on. They're supposed to go evenly as you go slow. The less it's open, the less ohms reading. See, it glitches right in there. Right as you start to open it, which is the problem that it was causing. It was stuttering as you went to go mash the pedal to take off. Alright, so I hooked up mine from my car, and here's what it does. Nothing. Not a doggone thing. Open the throttle. Nothing. Just dead. How in the world does a car drive with a bad TPS that has no reading at all? I thought they wasn't allowed to that, because when my original one died 5-6 years ago now, the car wouldn't start until I put this one on, and then sometime after that, this one must have died. That's very weird, but you know, live and learn. Learn something every day, I guess. Okay, well, let's fire it up, see how she runs. Besides that screaming tensioner over there, making noise. Smooth as a kitten now. Yeah, I believe that tensioner is bad. Something else, I don't know if I showed this already. Half of that belt's gone. You can see it. Half of it's flat and the other part's got grooves. That could be another reason why the tensioner is bouncing around. Also looks like it's had a bunch of belt degreaser, noise, squealer stuff sprayed all over it. Alright, well, we made it to the car wash. Yeah, put it on ramps in the yard. Really about the only spot to have this done. I need to put like a concrete slab like this just in a little spot to do where I can clean vehicles up or do a dedicated spot, because I'm not about to do it on my driveway and ruin the whole pavement with oil, grease, and grime. I was planning on taking it to the actual car wash. The thing is, with all the snow, ice, sleet, and junk we have had here in the last few weeks, there's no way I'm making it there. It is over slammed with people there trying to wash their vehicle, and I just don't feel like sitting there for 30 minutes trying to wait to get in line. And then not only that, the drains are so filled and clogged up with water, I can't lay underneath the car and clean the underside because I gotta have it on ramps like this. So in the yard it goes. So the good company, Super Clean, reached out to me, said, hey, you want some more products to try out in a video? And I said, you bet, because this thing is nasty. It has got mud and grime and who knows what all over it. So I said, sure, why not? So they sent me out another set of 4 different types of cleaners. So we have the basic Super Clean degreaser, foaming degreaser, wheel cleaner degreaser, and then their other foaming Super Clean cleaner degreaser. Love this stuff, man. And I'm not saying that because they sent me this. I really like their products. So anytime I get a chance they want to send me out of this, I will take it. And this car really, really desperately needs it. It is gross, especially the mud. That stuff will take all the mud and everything off of it. So let's get her soaked down, get the pressure washer going, and get this old car cleaned up again. I just want to say thank you, Super Clean, for sending this out. I really, really love these products, and it really helps on projects like this. I'm going to try out the foaming. I haven't tried that. I don't believe that they've sent me this one before. So I'm going to try it out, see how she does. Kind of like the foaming action a lot better. Gives it time to really soak in there and remove all that nastiness. It's got so much oil and stuff all over it. Looks like it's had a bunch of belt dressing sprayed all over the place. This will take care of it. I've switched to their basic cleaner. It's got a better spray pattern than the foaming, so I can get into just the little nooks and crannies and the tightest spots, getting all that mud on. I can literally see it come right off as it's soaking in, eating the grease right off of it. Get under here where it's really nasty. Look at the, oh geez. Just get her all up in there, let her soak. One good thing about it not being in the car wash is I can wait however long I want and have all the water I want. Because they went up from $1.75 to $2.50 for 4 minutes. Kind of crazy. Some people may not agree. Well, that's just fine. But get her soaked down and let her soak, and then we'll pressure wash it. Let's try out the foam in the can. That does it. Sweet, the wind's blowing the opposite way. Oh, no, right in the face. You don't recommend breathing that in, you know, doesn't taste good. Another good thing about being at the shop is I got air with me, so I can dry it right off and make it look a lot better. So here's the aftermath. Looks a lot better. It's not showing it up on camera like it is in person, but the radiator's still nasty. It ain't gonna come out. It's got stained of mud. He doesn't live down a dirt road, so I don't know where he's getting this mud from, but it don't matter. Not my vehicle. I'm just here to fix it and keep her going on the road as long as possible. Here's the other side. Transmission cleaned up really nice. You can actually see the bolts to the bell housing, the intake where I cleaned the distributor dummy down in there. So much better. I'll give her a quick wipe down and blow off with the air gun and see how good it looks. Alright, so now I got it back in the garage. Just changed the oil. As you can tell, it's black. I don't know when it's been changed last, but yeah, it is what it is. Every time I see the car, it's, you know, 10, 20,000 miles later every time. So anyway, 10W30 Castro GTX conventional. Do not use ever synthetic or high mileage just because it has 205,000. I never ever do that. I don't do that on my other one with 240,000. I don't even do that with anything I own because it's so thin it's like water. And I don't want leaks. I don't want valve train noises, lifters, and all that crap. Bottom end noises, bearing problems, thicker oil, cushions, everything. So the serpentine belt that was on it is toast, literally toast. It feels very, very thin. Half of it is gone. Like when you look at it, it's not grooved well. Half of it's like flattened, the other half is thicker. And that's because the stupid pulley I put on here a year or so ago, year and a half, it doesn't line up now for some reason. As you can see, it's cocked out this way. So anyhow, since I found out an idea on my Eurosport, I'm going to share the idea on this one and what I'm going to do. So you go buy a AC delete serpentine belt and you go to the junkyard and you find a Chevy S10 or any of the 4.3 engines from the 80s that have a idler pulley. Some of them didn't have them, some of them do. If it has an idler pulley that looks like this, I'll throw up a picture if I can find one. But anyhow, if it does, take the bolt, the spacer or alignment shim washer for the pulley, the washer, and the little O-ring that holds it all together, because you're going to need it to put on this car to delete AC. You'll have an idler pulley instead of that stupid bypass pulley that kits that they sell. They're pure junk. None of them I've ever had work right. They don't line up right. Clearly this one doesn't do right because it's ate up the belt. I've got it bolted like it's supposed to be down there. There's only two spots you can bolt it to. The very bottom, I had to make a spacer for it to go all the way across to the back part of the bracket that went to the compressor. But anyway, there is a little spot in the timing cover on every one of these 2.8s, 3.1s, multi-port right here. That's where the idler pulley is going to go. So how you're going to set this up is pulley, alignment washer, because it has that groove. That's what holds it in place. This guy goes on top, bolt goes through, and the only reason you have the O-ring is so whenever you're taking this apart, all this crap don't come flying out when you're trying to take it apart. So some of these did come with non-AC. The only reason this one doesn't have a compressor is, if you recall a few videos back when I had this last, the compressor died and it was shooting metal out of it, screaming, and it was about to lock up at any time. And at that moment, I never knew about this idea of creating this little scheme to delete AC instead of buying that right there for 50 bucks. That's ridiculous. It should be better than that. This right here cost me, I think it was less than 20 bucks for the pulley. Part number, by the way, and it's an AC Delco brand. There's your part numbers, 38009, or the other one, GM 889095990. So I think it was like 20 or less at the parts store. And then the belt, another 20 bucks. So 40 bucks ish, give or take. And then this bolt right here costs nothing at the junkyard. And you can find them everywhere. But from now on, this is the setup I'm gonna do if ever want to delete AC or have a problem with AC or whatever. But definitely the go-to now. Never buying that bypass pulley kit again. Got it torqued down, hand tight, and as tight as it can get. You don't want to go nuts. I don't know a torque spec for it. Just get it good and snug and tight. But don't go too crazy because the bearing is against that. But it does spin just fine. There is no wiggle or play or anything like that in it. It may look a little goofy, but from far up, it looks just fine. Let's go ahead and throw the non-AC belt on. And here's the part number for that, 600K6. Alright, and there you go. The belt's on. Everything looks nice and neat. It's all in its grooves. Put the little belt cover back on, and we'll fire it up, see how it runs. Shouldn't have any more squeaking or squealing or noises from the pulley drivetrain anymore. Still say that tension is bad. Much as that thing's going like this, if it isn't holding enough tension on that belt, it'll make that water pump slip and then overheat. Well, runs good. Fresh oil change. Now it's change the transmission fluid. Well, drop the transmission pan. Not too bad inside. You know, the fluid is a little dirty, but that is what it is by age, mileage. It may have been changed before because of the gasket that came off. I don't believe they used that style. The filter came right out with the little O-ring seal. That's not good because usually that's supposed to stay in there. And when I took the pan off, the seal wasn't even fully flush against the flange of the bottom of the transmission, so it could have been not fully sealed and sucking air, which would have been causing the problem of the erratic of not wanting to go into drive when cold. I don't believe the filter's plugged, but definitely was a good time to go ahead and change the fluid and service the transmission. Not too much grit inside the pan. That's nice. You know, you'll have, I don't know what that is, but okay, you'll have residual stuff like that. You know, like this is not okay. That's a little bit of clutch material there, but the whole pan is not fully coated in black. So And the fluid's not that horrible. It's still red. It's just kind of getting there where it needed to be serviced right at the right time. So I'm going to clean this pan up, clean the little magnet, new gasket, new filter, new seal, and throw it back together and put some fluid in it. Alright, so taking it for a quick spin to see how it drives through all the gears. After the transmission fluid change, oil change, all the other changes I've done. New front brake pads on the front. So let's see how she does. Second, third. Lockup doesn't work. It's unplugged because the solenoid is messed up and it sticks to the point to where when you come to a stop and you're in drive, it kills the engine. And then you start it back up, put it back in drive, and it kills the engine again until you unplug it and let it sit and cool off, and then you can drive it again. So I did put some trans tune in there. Maybe that will kind of unstick things. Definitely help clean out the valve body for any debris that's inside of that. It didn't come out with the fluid change. But maybe sometimes that will clean the solenoids from sticking. So if that's the case, I could try plugging it up. It's just I need to find a good spot to do it, because if it sticks, I won't be able to get the car to move until it cools off again, even if you do unplug it. It does have all of its gears. It's driving good. I rotated the tires as well. I mean, it drives good for what it is. Not bad. And we're at 205,150. Temperature's doing good. So serpentine belt, shorter belt, and the idler pulley I put on it is doing well for it. Doesn't seem like it's overheating or anything. Let's see how it does on passing gear. No slip. Locks right into gear when you let off of it. The transmission's happy as could be again. Hopefully no more problems with it. I don't think there will be. I believe I caught that needed to be serviced right at the correct time. Alright, made it to the car wash. Finally. I'll go ahead and knock the dust off this thing. Knock the mud off of it. And this grime, you can hear it. Sounds like sandpaper. Got a lot of black residue all over it. Windshield's gross. I'm gonna hope to not get water in there, you know, because I don't feel like having my butt wet after I wash it. It's got a lot of nastiness on top from parked under trees. It's all over the body. Hopefully, I got some comment and some pads to use to try to get that off, get the mud off, get the wheels clean, get the body cleaned at least, and yeah, that should be it. Make her look good again, at least more decent. Well, back from the car wash. I could not get that stuff off of there. Whatever that black residue is, it won't come off. It's coming off of my nail though. Anyway, it is freezing again, and a couple days ago it thundered and stormed and lightning really bad. So usually when it does that, 10 days or so after that, we get snow again. That's what the old saying goes. But she's cleaner than she was. All the mud is gone off of it at least. Super clean. Cleaned up the wheels and tires really well, and the wheel wells inside, and the mud off the side of the doors. This is the good side, the picture side that you take pictures of. The other side, not so much. Like I said, she's better than she was. I wished it was cleaner. You know, I hate not getting it to where I want it to be, but oh well. And it's wrecked too, so that makes it a lot worse and harder to clean it, because water is just dumping into the sides over here, especially this door. The seat got all wet. That was fun. You know, they open and shut now, but they don't seal at all anymore. And there's plexiglass with the other window. So, but anyway, I think that's gonna do it. She runs, she drives, she shifts, she runs better, No more idling problems. It's shifting great. Alignment probably needs alignment, I would assume, because it pulls one way. But new pads, rotated the tires, and then under the hood we fixed the major oil leaks. The oil pressure switch was bad. We replaced that in this video. We replaced the distributor dummy O-ring and added an extra seal. We replaced the throttle body, the throttle position sensor, gave it a whole fresh bath, new serpentine belt, AC delete pulley setup, a lot better. Replaced a little gasket right here, the coolant crossover pipe. These are very common to leak. Be very, very careful if yours is leaking and you have to replace it, because those bolts that go into the timing cover will break. I've had it happen. Gave it a fresh oil change as well. And something else I want to know about the oil change I want to show y'all. Also, I tried to replace that coolant overflow, but can't find one. There hasn't been another A-body in the junkyard in a while that has that same setup, or it at all. Here's something I want to note. Oil filter mod. On every one of mine, 2831, you can go and order a 85 S10 two-wheel drive oil filter for a 2.8, and it will work on the multiport 2.8. Only thing difference is it's longer, and that's the only reason why I do it. The ones that come factory for a Celebrity 2.8 and 3.1 are short like this. It's the STP brand. I don't know the part number, but I'll try to throw up a picture of two AC Delco brands of the shorter and longer if you want to go and check those out, if I can find the picture. But I always order this, and I always use Wix, which is 51036. I believe she's good to go now, ready for the owner to come pick her back up. Like I say every time, I hate to see her leave, but we'll see her again, I'm sure. And just here to keep her going and keep her on the road to back to a daily driver. No more oil leaks, no more problems. She should be good. But yeah, definitely try to find a overflow tank for him in the future time. But it sucks that it got wrecked. There's nothing I can do about it. I would go get two doors, but as I explained at the beginning, but the A-pillar is smashed in, so there's really no use even trying to go and get another set of two doors, because the body's just damaged and it's going to continue to get ruined. The whole inside is going to get mold. It's going to get a bunch of water into it, and it's going to ruin the entire rest of the car. But there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just here to keep her going as long as I can and on the road. I believe I've covered everything in this video, and like, share, subscribe, comment below, let me know what you think. And as always, I will catch you guys later in the next one. There's more content coming on the Eurosport, and picked up another project, but you won't see that yet. It's coming, and I'm sure a lot of you are gonna like it. It's nothing I've ever worked on before, let's just put it that way. It is a GM product, but I'm not gonna say anything else more than that. And it also may be V8 powered, so let that just kind of set in for a little bit. But anyway, this old girl is ready to go home, and I'm ready to move on to another project. So I'll catch you guys later in the next one. Stay tuned for more content coming your way. And thank you guys for continuing to coming back and watching these videos, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. Catch you later.